Hi, my name is Shane. I use she and her pronouns. My Twitter handle is at Shane_Marble. This is a game I've called Thirsty Cheerleading Lesbians. I know it sounds like a bad 80s porn title, but I promise it will be a wholesome family time, very gay, but not, but also very PG, I think. It's a reskin, obviously, of April Kit Walsh's Thirsty Sword Lesbians game from Evil Hat Games, um, but focused on cheerleading. Uh, Finally, I get to run a game about cheerleading, my long-time dream. Very excited to share it with you. This game was organised as part of the Gauntlet Community Gaming Calendar. The Gauntlet is an online community that organises and plays a whole range of mostly indie and story games. There are over 100 sessions on the calendar each month. And if you'd like to find out more, or especially if you'd like to play with us, go to gauntlet-rpg.com. Going to ask the players now to introduce themselves, just with your name and pronouns, anything that you want to tell us about yourselves, and also maybe helpful to let me know if you've played Thirsty Sword Lesbians before, or just more generally if you've played sort of PBTA type games. So I'm going to ask Greg to go first.
All right. My name is Greg. Use he, him pronouns. And I am sort of newish to story gaming, having done it like regularly for about a year now. And a couple of the people I did it with were involved with the Gauntlet. So that's how I ended up here. And very exciting to play a game of lesbian cheerleading drama. So.
Great. Greg, I really relate. I was just reflecting the other day that a year ago the only game I had played was 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons, so also relatively new to story games. Joe.
Hi, everybody. My name is Joe. I use he, him pronouns. I have played Thirsty Sword Lesbians before. The last time I played it, we were adventurers. We were pirates in ancient Greece, so this is going to be quite a bit different. And I'm kind of a design nerd and kind of a design like hack nerd, so I'm really looking forward to see how we change this game so that it's about cheerleading and not about swords.
Right. And Daryl.
Hello. My name is Daryl. My pronouns are he, him. I am a 3 or 4 year gauntleteer now at this point. And as a consequence, I have played my fair share of PBTA. Actually, I've literally only played Dungeons and Dragons once, and then it was a rabbit hole down from there. And so this game, I'm very excited to play. I've never played it before, so I've never played it in the traditional flavor, but I'm very much interested in this hack because Monster Hearts is my raison d'etre. So anything set in a high school where I can live out my fondest CW fantasies is going to be great.
That's great. I think that this will play out kind of like a more wholesome Monster Hearts, like less violent and dark. All right, great. So I like to start a game with CATS procedure, standing for concept, aim, tone, and subject matter, just to kind of set some expectations. So I'm just going to go through that quickly, and feel free to jump in if you have any questions. I guess we kind of covered the concept, but it's again a reskin of Thirsty Sword Lesbian for stories of teen sports drama. Bring It On, obviously a key touchstone, and other cheerleading movies, but also Step Up franchise, Bend It Like Beckham, all kinds of stories in that genre. I am absolutely obsessed with movies like this. I've always wanted to play or run a teen sports game. I've tried without success to design one, so I'm just really excited for this and to share it with you. Aim, we are looking at hopefully 4 sessions of 3 hours. I think I flagged in the email that I may have to cut that back to 3. I'll let you know as soon as I can. Today we'll be just going through some intro stuff and then make characters and start the game. I guess part of the aim also is to see whether the Thirsty Sword Lesbians rules will actually work for this, and I'm absolutely open to making changes between sessions if it turns out that's what we need. We'll do stars and wishes at the end, so if there are things that you think, things that you'd like to see change, things that aren't working well, that's a great opportunity to let me know and we can talk about what to do. This is also one of the PBTA games that has an agenda for its players. So your aim as players is to bring the action, to feel deeply and powerfully and often, to be excited about other PCs and shared stories, and to stand for justice and liberation. Not totally sure how well that fourth one fits with the game that we'll actually be playing, but it's nice, so let's keep it in there. The tone I'm looking for is kind of light teen comedy and melodrama. We've already talked about Touchstone, so I think that's pretty clear. Subject matter-wise, we'll get to lines and veils and other safety tools in just a second, but some things I just wanted to flag. There are some topics in real-life teen sports stories that, to me, are just too heavy for the tone I want us to have for this game. So I've put lines on performance-enhancing drug use and disordered eating in particular. I just invite you to think more generally, topics that you might not normally think to consider as lines or veils in a game, but that might come up specifically in the context of thinking about sports and stuff like that. Also, Thirsty Sword Lesbians encourages stories about kind of courageous queer characters resisting heterosexist oppression, often in pretty spectacular and over-the-top fantasy arrangements. So for this game, I was thinking about and considering a storyline about conservative forces in the town that think the cheerleading squad is too queer and want to shut it down. I see that might not be fun for people, that might be like too close to real life. So normally I would kind of veil or line homophobia and transphobia, but I haven't for this game. But please consider like whether that's something that a dynamic you would want to play with or not. And I'll just be guided by what's going to be fun for all the players. So that said, let's actually just do our lines and veils. I assume that you're all Gauntlet veterans and know how lines and veils work, but if you go to the character keeper, there's a lines and veils tab. I've already started to fill it in a little bit. You'll see that there are columns for lines, excuse me, lines being topics that just won't come up at all in the game that we play. Veils being topics that may be part of the story that we tell, but we're not going to focus on them. We're going to skip over them quickly, fade to black, whatever works. There's also an Ask First column if you'd like a specific check-in if that topic comes up. Going to ask that if you do mark anything as Ask First, can you also just make a note with your name in that on that line so I know who would like to be asked about that content? Or if you don't want to do that in a more public way, you're welcome to DM me and I'll make a note of that. So I'm just going to give you a minute here to fill that out to decide what's good for you. Obviously, you are also welcome to add more topics at the bottom of the list. It's not meant to be exhaustive. And if you could all just post an okay in the chat when you're happy with it.
Quick question, Shane.
Mm-hmm.
So homophobia is currently a line. I don't know if that's that seems to go against what you were saying. So I'm not sure if that's marked wrong or somebody else marked it. Or
yeah, that's just to say that somebody has marked homophobia as a line, so that's fine.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah, no worries.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You'll also see, I think most of you have seen that on that page, sort of down and to the right, there's a romance options tab where you can mark your name and your preferences about possible romance with other players and NPCs, either as a yes, no, or ask first dynamic, or you can have more complicated preferences. And if you want to fill out that little matrix as well, that would be great. Sorry, I should have said that before I asked you to post okay. All right. So I'm just going to read through what we've marked as lines and veils so that we're all on the same page. So we have lines on drug abuse, racism, sexual assault, suicide, torture, homophobia, COVID-19 and pandemics, disordered eating, fat phobia, performance-enhancing drugs, self-harm, and transphobia. We have veils on harm to animals, harm to children, kink, student-teacher relations, and child abuse. I'm just going to upgrade child abuse to a line. I'm not interested in seeing that in the game. I'm happier to just mark it out entirely. That seems like a great set of lines and veils for me. Thank you for taking the time to do that. The other safety tools that we're going to be using are the X card. So if anything does come up in the game that's like not fun for you, not comfortable, that you want to take out, please just either verbally say X card, mark an X in the chat, or make an X with your hands. I'll be very happy to just work around the content and make sure that we do go forward in a way that's good for everyone. And the other is the open door. So if you need to leave for any reason, whether that's a bio break or you're just not into the game, you're not having a good time, it's totally fine to just leave. If you can tell us why, that would be great, but you don't have to. We also are playing under the Gauntlet Community Code of Conduct, which I assume you're all familiar with. Excuse me. That's all that I wanted to say by way of my cat's bit. And I'll take questions, and then I want to talk a little more about the kind of setting and some rule stuff before we get to make characters. Everyone's cool with that? All right.
Sure.
All right. So, setting-wise, you're going to be playing members of the Ravano Junior College cheer team. You are the defending national cheerleading champions, and my broad intention is that the final session will climax at this year's national championships, and we'll find out whether you successfully retain your championship or not. That's my intention, but I am absolutely open to this going in some other direction depending on your choices and stuff. I'm not going to railroad you to nationals. It's just kind of what the direction that I'm thinking. There are two main obstacles to that national title that you should be aware of and sort of thinking about as you think about what sort of character you'd like to play. The first is that your team is just riven with cliques and factions and internal conflict. The game, like Thirsty Sword Lesbians, kind of works best, I think, having read it but not played it, with a level of tension and conflict between PCs, but not like a full-on enmity or hostility. So characters divided by clique and faction and things like that, I think will work well. It's also the sort of game where you tend to be attracted to your enemies, or at least open to attraction to your enemies. So a sort of cliquish environment I think will work well. The second thing is your school is just a couple of miles down the road from Holy Spirit College, your main cheerleading rivals. They placed second at nationals last year. They've won championships in the past, and they are definitely a real threat to take the title this year unless your team can pull it together, can come together, and can get across the finish line. That's up. If you've seen the series Cheer, that is taken pretty much directly from the series Cheer. Changed. Daryl, you asked about some rule changes. Just to go over this again, moves or playbooks that imply magic, we're going to either exclude them, or if you want to just reflavor them so that they don't, so that they make sense in a kind of mundane contemporary setting, you're welcome to do that. I think that the only playbooks that won't work well in that setting are the two witch playbooks. If you come across anything in a playbook you're considering where you're like, oh, that sounds a bit weird, we can talk about how to make that work, or whatever you need. If you look on the character keeper, there's a moves tab, and you'll see that there are two moves that I have changed slightly from the core game. The changes are not very big, but just to kind of flag them, especially for people who've played before. The fight move is replaced by the cheer fight move. The premise being that you can confront and humiliate enemies by a spectacular, spontaneous display of cheerleading one-on-one, sort of like a dance battle, but with more backflips maybe. that essentially replaces the fight move from the core game. I guess if you really want to fight someone, you can, but we don't have a move for that anymore, so we'll just deal with it narratively. There's also a move in the core game called Finally Kiss in a Dangerous Situation. I've changed that to a charge situation just to kind of, this game generally is going to move away from danger and towards other kinds of intensity. And I have also altered that move so that if the charge situation you finally kiss in is the National Cheerleading Championships, you get an extra bonus. Just in terms of the reskinning, like I did just take the character keeper that someone else had made for Thirsty Sword Lesbians, so there are going to be some rough edges as you adjust, like from fantasy sci-fi kind of settings to a college. When some of the looks won't make sense, things like that. Just sort of work around that. I'm sure it's going to be fine. There's also a question that we should work out before we all make characters, which is whether you will all be playing lesbians. My feeling is that you should all play lesbians. Of course, that includes a wide range of characters, including non-binary lesbians, he/him lesbians, cis and trans, bi, pan, and ace lesbians. Any character who might identify as a lesbian, welcome. That's my feeling. If anyone's not comfortable playing a lesbian for any reason, or has something that would be more fun for them, like you're welcome to tell us that, or just make some other sort of character. I think that's everything I need to say before we start making characters. Is there anything there that anyone wanted to ask about or clarify, or any comments? Right.
I wanted to chat about the possibility of playing. I kind of am tempted to play a male cheerleader, but I don't know how that's going to throw off the dynamic of the game. Certainly, the character that I play would be queer, whether we call that like a he/him lesbian, or whether we call that queer or pansexual, or however we would choose to define that. I want to know if everybody else would be comfortable with that, and if not, that is totally fine, no pressure. But I want to know what everybody else thinks.
I would be okay with it. I am concerned about how it might sort of affect the romance options.
I'm also fine with it. I'm making, of course, an assumption that you're going to be kind of respectful with it. It's going to be more of an earnest kind of character, not like that skeezy, join the cheerleading team for other reasons kind of character.
Absolutely respectful, 100%.
Yeah, and I'm fine with that. Also, my character is always aggressively bisexual, so it's fine. We're excited with it.
Excellent. All right.
Okay, so I know what I'm going to do then. Thank you, everybody.
Cool. So if you've played PBTA games before, and everyone has, it should be pretty straightforward how you make your character. You'll see that the character keeper is divided into columns, separate columns for each playbook. So have a read through some of the flavor text. The full playbooks are in the folder that I shared. Or do people already know which playbook they want to play?
I do
too. Yeah.
Nice.
I was really looking at the Seeker.
Nice.
Play a girl from an evangelical background.
Oh, perfect.
Great.
Because I want to play an Infamous. This will be fun.
Okay, so I'm definitely going to play a scoundrel then.
All right. I love it. So just go ahead and fill out your columns in the character keeper. I am going to delete the ones that we're not using. Well, let's get you all to just briefly introduce your characters. So we'll go left to right across the character keeper, if that's okay with everyone. So Daryl, do you want to introduce Ursula?
Yeah, so I'm playing Ursula Tenjo, who uses she/her pronouns. She's the Scoundrel playbook and has playful eyes and flowing clothes. The moves that she has is she comes with lust at first sight, which is basically I choose somebody that it's like the mortal move from Monster Hearts actually, because I just choose someone right off the bat that I'm smitten with that I barely know, and I instantly like get a whole bunch of stuff around them. Then I also have Shiny and New, which is when I give or receive emotional support in an intimate moment with somebody new. Can mark XP. Better to seek forgiveness, which is when I apologize to someone for my outrageous conduct and put myself at their mercy. I have some options there. And then impressive swordplay, which is whenever I roll 7+ on a fight move, I can gain a string on someone who's present.
And do you want to just tell us a bit about Sheila? Like, what's her background? How did she get to be a cheerleader?
Okay. Okay. Exploratory dreaming here. So Ursula has been on the team, I think, for a couple of years. I think is like kind of thinks that she should be captain, but probably isn't captain because gets too distracted by anything and anyone else. But is still like dedicated to like winning and making sure that everyone does a good job and like that we succeed. So I think that she likes to think that she's very easy to get along with, but probably has burned quite a few bridges. So we'll see what cliques actually welcome her or have like frozen her out.
Cool.
Nice.
All right. Who's next? Greg, do you want to introduce Ashley?
I am playing Ashley Newser. She is the Seeker playbook. She grew up in small town Iowa in a very evangelical family and setting, and was a cheerleading star throughout high school, and now is off to the relatively big city to chase her national dreams for the glory of God. She's very naive. This is her first year here. And there's lots of things she doesn't really know about herself yet. So.
Right.
So she has the people are people move where she can talk about her home and gain various bonuses from that. She also took It Wasn't All Bad when she encounters someone whose perspective is different. I can possibly gain strings on them. And listen and learn. She will be asking people what to do in unfamiliar situations. I'm sure you'll give her good advice. So.
Sounds great. Joe, do you want to introduce Madison?
Absolutely. I'll be playing Madison Brandt. Madison uses they, them pronouns. Madison is local to whatever city we live in. Their upbringing was kind of rough. They've got a pretty big chip on their shoulder. And they have, the infamous is a playbook where you used to work for the other side. So Madison actually spent a year and a bit cheering for another college. And that college, there was actually a huge controversy. The details are kind of sketchy, but several people got arrested. And Madison was involved somehow. We know that Madison got expelled from that college, which is why she's now going to Urbano Junior College. Kind of feels like it's a step down. But, just take what you can get. Yeah. And the cheerleading thing is more of a they were an athlete in high school. Cheerleading was never sort of their thing, but now that they see how it is at this level, they're like, okay, this is something I can do. But they're not super excited about it. My two news are always suspect. When you pretend to be a villain to win a villain's trust, they trust you enough to offer you an opportunity. You must choose one of the following options, which is basically it's basically the very CW move of, oh, I saw you do something with so and so, so you must be evil. And also, when you expose the hypocrisy of someone who is supposedly virtuous, I can roll daring and possibly gain a string on them. So Madison is going to be a troublemaker.
Right. I love this cast of characters. So what I want to do now is, rather than the usual relationships that are more kind of specific to fantasy combat games, I have borrowed an idea from Hearts of Wulin, and I want all to create entanglements. So there's a Google Doc in the folder. Not sure if people have played Hearts of Wulin, but basically you're going to have two entanglements, one a relationship entanglement and one a general entanglement. So you pick one from each list, or you can make your own. The idea is that each one has two blanks in it for names. One of those blanks is going to be filled with the name of another PC, and one of those blanks is going to be filled with the name of an NPC. Obviously, at first, you're going to have to create those NPCs, but as we go on, you can also, reincorporate the NPCs that other characters have introduced. I'll just give you a sec to have a look at the list. And this time, I think we'll go right to left across the character keeper. And what I'm going to do is ask you each to choose an entanglement. You can start either with the relationship or the general one. Tell us about it. Tell us about who's going into it. Obviously, get consent from another player if you're including them. And we'll go through, once right to left across the character keeper, and then once left to right to finish it off.
Perfect.
I'll just give you a minute to think about it some more. Are people ready to start going through? Joe, do you want to lead us your first entanglement?
Yes. So my first entanglement, I'm going with the general. XX made a bet with me that we won't win nationals this year, and I'm worried what will happen if Y finds out. So, Ashley is new to the squad. Ursula, you've been around for a while, is that right?
Yeah, for 2 years.
For 2 years, okay. So, if you were to find out somebody was like breaking the rules, I don't think you'd be the type to go tattle on them, but you'd probably make life uncomfortable for them, is what I'm guessing.
Yeah, I think that's probably the case.
Yeah, okay. So, X is going to be a friend of mine from my other college. I made a bet with them. Their name is Michelle. So I made a bet with Michelle that Michelle is betting that we won't make nationals this year. I'm betting that we will. And I'm worried what's going to happen if Ursula finds out, because one, I'm pretty sure it's very much against the rules to bet either on or against yourself. And two, I'm pretty sure people are not going to understand if they tell them that somebody from my old alma mater is like trying to put money on our performance.
Sorry, I just want to confirm your bet. You have put money down that you will succeed. You're not betting against the team, or yes? Okay.
I've just put money that we will succeed, but that's not necessarily what Michelle's going to say if someone asks her.
Sure.
Yeah.
So tell me about Michelle. Like, she's a friend of yours, but you don't fully trust her. Is that what I'm getting?
Michelle is a friend of mine. She and we've had a real rival friendship for a long time. Like, we push each other to be better, which is why I'm doing this bet.
Yeah.
But she has in the past thrown people under the bus if she thinks she's going to get in trouble. So I know that if this comes out and somebody like twists her arm just a little bit, she's going to say whatever she has to make sure she doesn't get in trouble.
Yeah. Great. Thank you. Greg, do you want to tell us Ashley's first entanglement?
Sure. I was thinking a relationship entanglement.
Great.
That Ursula doesn't want me to spend time with my best friend, let's say Kaylee. I'm thinking that Kaylee is just very small town, and Ursula wants to expand my horizons.
Does that sound good for you, Daryl? Does that make sense
Yes.
for Ursula?
Yeah, that sounds
okay.
I'm such an interesting character already.
Great. And I'll get you to do both of Ursula's entanglements and then back across.
So who wants to be dumped by Ursula? Because I dumped someone, but the person that I now have a crush on has a crush on them.
I'll take that.
Alrighty. So
that adds even more to the tension between us. Yeah, I like this.
Okay, so I dumped Madison, but so my new crush it has a crush on Madison. So my new crush is, their name is, of course now I have like name blindness. London. Their name is London. And yeah, so I don't know if London, I mean, does it make sense for London to also be a cheerleader, or do we have like periphery people, like other students at this college or things like that? I like whatever. They're just like a fan. Yeah. Like a fan of the cheerleaders.
Okay. A student?
Yeah. Someone who maybe for some reason like really likes cheerleading but can't be part of it.
Yeah. So So London, who uses she, her pronouns, has a crush on Madison. Don't know if Madison is aware of that or not, but I'm aware. Let's see here.
And why did you how long did you date? Why did you break up? Tell us a bit about the relationship.
Okay, so Joe, feel free to retcon any of this, but I feel like Ursula and Madison dated when you were still at your previous college. And when I found out you were going to be moving to my college, I broke it off. Ostensibly because I was dating other people at the same time. And, what's out of sight is out of mind, but I didn't want to do it in front of you. So.
Oh, that's much nicer motivations that I gave you Ursula credit for. I think exactly that. And I think from Madison's point of view, like Madison sees it more as like you didn't want to have to have me compete for your attention because you knew I would win.
Whatever helps Madison sleep at night, that's great.
Exactly.
And what is it about London? Like, why has London caught your eye?
Oh, I think London has caught my eye because, you know what? We already have like an innocent original type. I think it is. I think that London radiates success. They probably go to like, they're a part of like the International Business College, and like they like just radiating like wealth and success. So like honestly, that's probably why cheerleading is like not a thing that they're doing, because it's quote unquote like beneath them, but they just want to live vicariously.
Nice.
And Madison is definitely the troublemaker, the bad one. So yeah.
This is
and Madison,
K-drama's coming in.
Do you think that Madison knows about this or not yet?
I think Madison knows that London is interested. And Madison is kind of playing it cool right now because they want to know whether London is like actually interested or whether this is just a phase for them, because kind of tired of getting dumped by people who just have a phase.
Oh.
Not looking at Ursula at all.
All right. What is Ursula's second entanglement?
Okay, so I have to actually just gonna pick that one. Okay, so me and X want the same mat spot, but it's currently held by my person Y.
No.
What is a mat spot?
So this is directly from Cheer. The idea is that there's like 40 people who are on the team, but there's only 20 people who will actually perform in nationals, the actual like, performing team. So I guess like mat is like being on the actual field on the mat, part of the show, kind of.
Okay, so it's basically like not sitting on the bench, basically.
Yeah.
Like, to use a different sports term. Okay. Cool. So yeah, but Ursula's been on the team for a while, and I'm gonna pick another one. That one. Okay. You've learned that X stole something from some of the team's best moves from Y. No, but that doesn't fit with her either. I'm sorry, I'm gonna pick another one.
Right, do you want us to come back to you? Is that easier?
Yes, that would actually be much better. I didn't get a chance to read the general one.
No worries. Joe, are you good if we come back to you and we'll go back right to left again?
Yes, absolutely.
Great, let's do that.
All right. So I want X to like me, but I'm ashamed because of what I did to their friend Y. So X in this case most logically is Ashley. I want Ashley to like me because I also come from a sort of puritanical background, although I've definitely broken from that. But I do kind of want her to like me, and I don't know whether it's going to be romantic or not. But I just damn it, just like me, damn it. But who's a friend that I might have done something semi-nasty or bad to?
It could have been Kaylee, who's the other small town girl I bonded with.
Oh, okay, yeah, I like that. So, any ideas on what I would have? I don't want to say done to Kaylee because that sounds nasty. But any idea what like the falling out that Kaylee and I would have had?
I mean, the first one that springs to mind, if this sounds right to people, is that after you were dumped so abruptly by Ursula, you had a brief, uncomfortable rebound relationship with Kaylee that ended badly.
Yeah, and it did. It did, because I think that was probably Kaylee's, like, one of her first, like, big, serious relationships.
And she probably hasn't told me any of this.
Oh, yeah, I like that. And I'm not going to tell you because I want you to like me, and I feel like you won't if you know about this. Yeah. I like this. And I don't know how Kaylee feels about me, but I imagine she's not super thrilled with me.
Cool. All right. Ashley, do you want to do your second entanglement?
Sure. kind of hard coming up with entanglements with Madison, just because I don't see ourselves in the same mat spot.
Although we are both kind of newcomers to the team, so.
So I'll go with the injury.
Ah.
So
Tell us
far,
about
only Madison knows about my injury.
Interesting. Okay.
I'd say it was a like seriously dislocated my ankle, like in the last year. But for the most part, that isn't public knowledge. But
right.
Somehow Madison knew the right people that when I walked into the team, they said, "Oh yeah, her."
Yeah.
Wonder how her ankle is. So who knows when that's going to act up? And
yeah,
I am no doubt fearful the coach. Well, the coach might know, but
yeah. Well, definitely. I think there's someone. Sorry, go ahead.
I mean, I guess the logical options for who you're worried will find out to me are either the coach, maybe a captain, or someone else who wants your spot on the mat.
Sure.
Yeah, I was thinking there's a clique of people on the team who are very much against Ashley for whatever.
I have a rival clique.
You have a rival clique, and they definitely don't like the fact, because I imagine you're probably doing pretty well for just being first on the team, and I don't think they're happy with that. So if they found out, they would make enough of a stink of it that anybody who's turning a blind eye could no longer turn a blind eye, is what I'm thinking.
I'm feeling like maybe they're sort of the mean girls on the team, and I'm young and fresh faced and showing them all up. And
yeah. And I
tell us the names of a couple of the mean girls.
I was just thinking, now we have to have names for them.
Brittany.
That's a good one.
Then the other one needs to be Christina.
I think that's right. All right.
And Gwen.
Great.
Yeah. I think that's
Gwen.
I think three of them is about right. Yes.
All right.
I both.
Ursula. Oh, sorry. Go on.
I both want Ashley to like me, so I'm keeping her secret, but also like fuck the mean girls.
Yeah. And what's Ursula's last entanglement going to be?
Okay, so I found the perfect one. It is Ashley is tutoring me because Team Captain River said that I'll get kicked off the team if my grades don't improve.
That's great. I was about to say that we really need a team captain.
Team Captain River.
So tell us about River.
Oh my God, River's a piece of work. Okay, so Rivers is that person that like all of the adults think that she is just the nicest person that ever existed, and like you should be best friends with her, and she's really going places. And if you could just be a little bit more like River, I mean, like look how she's got like perfect grades. She's captain of the cheerleading team. She's had the same like significant other for the past like 7 years. It's, you know, she's got the perfect life, and of course everybody knows that inside it's like thinly held together with like mascara and like all sorts of unhealthy coping mechanisms.
Amazing. I think that's fantastic. I'm really happy with the entanglements. Let's take a short break here, and we'll come back and I think we're ready to start playing. So, yeah, if we just come back at 13 minutes past the hour. All right, is everyone good to start playing?
Yes.
Oh. Great. So, we are going to start at training. Outside of school hours, training is a big part of all of your lives, of course, at this elite level. After school, every day, before school, many days. First question that I just want to ask each of you, what do we see in the gym that tells us that this school is putting really too much money into the cheerleading program? Let's go left to right across the character keeper for this. So just starting with Ursula.
So they're like the team is using like a lot of really excessive props, like ribbons, and like there's a confetti cannon that goes off at the end of the routine, even though the auditorium is empty.
Amazing. Ashley?
I'd say there's an entire wall that has been redone to showcase our awards from each year, with large banners hanging in each, and the awards themselves, each lovingly crafted into their own little year-by-year nook.
Amazing. And Madison?
There is a pop-up drinks bar in the gym while we're practicing. It's got sparkling water with various non-sugar flavors. It's got like 4 different kinds of coffee. There's 2 baristas who work there. It's kind of ridiculous.
Amazing. I love it. All right. So amidst this scene, it's towards the end of training. You're all, pretty drained. It's been a pretty intense training. We are just a few weeks out from the national championships. Things are really coming to a head. You're all feeling that pressure. The other reason that you're all particularly stressed out today, well, sorry, I shouldn't tell you that you're stressed out, but the other thing that may be causing you some extra stress today is that tonight is Cheer Wars. This is a local tradition. It's happened over the last few years. It happens late at night when no adults are around. It's a street cheerleading competition. So the teams from the local schools meet up. They battle each other. There are like small side battles between individuals, but the real show, the big show, is the confrontation between your team and your rivals, Madison, your former school, Holy Spirit College. The superstition is that whoever wins the battle at Cheer Wars goes on to win nationals. Cheer Wars has only happened 3 times, but it has held true every year until. So that is something that's on the mind of every cheerleader today. I wanted to ask, maybe this is getting like too into the weeds of cheerleading, but does anyone have an idea of like the particular role that their character plays on the team? Are you more of a stunter, a flyer, a base? Like you don't really mind? Does anyone have a feeling about that?
Tumbler flyer. Tumbler flyer.
Nice.
Great.
I don't know what those mean. I could kind of guess what a flyer is.
I mean, really, I can do whatever we need for story purposes.
Yeah.
But.
What is a stunter?
So, I mean, basically what I took from my research is that there are 3 main roles on the team, and often people cross over them. But there's a base, who is someone who like holds people up, lifts them up, throws them in the air. There's a flyer, who is the person who gets lifted up or thrown through the air. And there's a stunter, who does more like tumbling and flips and things like that.
I'm currently working mostly as a base, but I'm really wanting to be a tumbler.
Ah, interesting. Madison wants to be a tumbler. So does that mean you're putting in some extra training, or is it more of a like idle dream?
Putting in more training, and also trying to get River to realize that I'm not wasted as a base, although I am kind of wasted as a base. And I've got Tumbler in my blood, damn it.
All right. So is there a particular tumbler whose spot you want? Someone you think you could beat?
There's definitely, I don't want anybody's spot, but there's a couple people on the team I'm pretty sure I could beat. What's the name of the mean girls again?
Brittany, Christina, and Gwen.
Gwen needs to get the flippin' fudge out of my way.
Great. Well, it's only a few weeks out from nationals. Like, when are you thinking of making your move?
River's going to be at Cheer Wars, right?
Yeah.
Sounds like a good time to me.
All right. Challenge at Cheer Wars. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And do you have any thoughts on Ursula's position?
She's definitely a tumbler. So doing a lot of the stunts that probably that Madison was looking at, in the higher tier, definitely not in fear of losing their spot like Gwen, but not like the best.
Okay. Is there someone on the team who's like unequivocally the star, like the best person on the team?
I kind of just wanted to be River.
Yeah, I mean that works as well.
I also think Christina, nobody likes Christina, but nobody can disrespect the fact that Christina gets it done.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe she's top girl, or
Right.
we have a couple people who rotate through that role.
Yeah.
She's definitely high up in the rank. Probably when we go to nationals, she's definitely, planning to be one of the star spots.
Cool. So I think that at this point in the training, you're working towards the pyramid, the most challenging part of the routine. And for this, you work in small groups. There's a couple of people who act as base, one person who goes up, and maybe we're like trying out some different configurations, like just thinking about what's going to work out really well at nationals. But the three of you have been put together. I guess probably it makes sense that Ursula and Madison are the bases, and Ashley is doing some flying. How are you going? How are you all finding working together?
I think it's probably super awkward for Ursula's probably just avoiding eye contact from Madison, and then just probably maybe not quite maybe hefting a little too hard to get Ashley in the air, just really uncomfortable with the situation.
And Madison, how do you feel?
Madison keeps quiet for a little bit, but if the coach doesn't call Ursula on her shit, I definitely will.
All right. Well, let's give that we'll hold that for a sec. Ashley, I mean, how do you feel about all this? You've definitely noticed there's some tension.
Yes, she's a little mystified as to why the tension, but it's got her worried, because here's Ursula tossing her a little bit too hard, And,
yeah, she's got that bad ankle.
It's true.
And it seems like Madison will maybe be the first one to say something.
And I can't mention the ankle, so there's one time after a particularly hard throw or a miss because Ursula's not working. I just lean over and cheese and crackers, Ursula. Or sorry, cheese and rice, Ursula. Get it together.
What? What are you talking about? I'm totally focused, and
the fact that you don't know what I'm talking about is the problem.
Oh my god, fine. And she does it perfectly that time, but just dead eyes you.
Does Ashley say anything?
She starts smiling even harder. She's for the moment, no.
All right. So Ashley, as you're like, flying through the air, flipping through the air gracefully, excuse me, you notice the coach down there on the ground, and over the course of a few flips, you realize something's up. What is it, or what do you see that tells you that the coach has, something on her mind, is a little distracted?
I think it's just that the coach would normally be sort of looking around at the whole formation, trying to get a good general idea. But right now she's focused in maybe just on our group.
Mm-hmm. So she's coming over. Are you concerned at all about that?
Of course.
What are you worried about?
Getting a visit from coach is always just unnerving because
Coach is a little intimidating.
yes.
What pronouns does coach use?
I was just thinking, who is coach?
Yes, well, we're about to find out.
I think it's a woman, she, her.
Yeah. You just call her coach?
Yes. Everyone does.
Yeah, everyone calls her coach.
To her face, anyway.
Ursula, do you also... Yeah, exactly. Ursula, do you also find coach intimidating?
No, I'm pretty much over it at this point. It's like I'm like good enough that even though I regularly get called on my shit, I am still kept on the team. Although the whole academic probation thing is kind of a big deal. So when coach brings that up, I'm like, okay, fine. But for the most part, I'm just like, oh, more compliments today.
Madison, what do you think of coach?
I'm coach is complicated. Like, I admire the fact that she doesn't take any shit, and I admire the fact that she's kind of what I want to be, both in like how she carries herself and in kind of the career that I want to have, actually. But I'm a little too insecure to actually talk about that with her. So
interesting that Madison sees themselves as a future cheer coach. Well, I'm interested now to ask some more about this. Do your characters have career goals in mind? What do you like? You're studying something at this college. Madison, what would you be studying?
I'm definitely studying sports psychology.
Cool. What's Ashley studying? Sorry, you're definitely welcome to think about this and just come back to us some other time. I really sprung that one. Do you know what Ursula's studying?
So she's taking political science for a pre-law track.
And I'm thinking sports medicine for Ashley. Nice and non-committal.
Nice. All right. So coach is looking over the three of you quite critically. Ashley, it sounds like you're the most intimidated by coach. So I think that you need to roll to defy disaster.
Okay.
To pull off this spell. I'm losing my... Roll with me is having some issues for me too. So I think that you need to decide what stat you're rolling on.
Aha, there we go. just sheer willpower.
Sure.
Just hold up and do my best.
Is that daring or?
No, that would be. What's the names of them again? Soul, or the new appellation is
Spirit.
Spirit. There we go. Spirit.
All right. Well.
So she's just going to look like she's super enthusiastic about everything that's going on and give it 110%.
Oh no!
Oh, so bad. So bad.
All right. So, Ursula and Madison, as the coach walks over, you toss Ashley into the air just like you've been doing, and it's been a little awkward, especially the way Ursula was throwing, but mostly it's been okay up until now. But as coach walks over, there's just a horrifying sound of a body crashing into the ground and a loud scream. In fact, it's so loud that you almost drop Ashley as she comes back down, and the three of you realize that the screams have come from across the gym, where Christina, the top girl, has hit the mat hard.
Oh no!
You can tell like something bad has happened over there. Coach immediately turns away from the three of you and like rushes to see what's going on. See, Ashley, you probably have the best view. Did you see what happened?
I think it was just during one of the shifts of the pyramid, she was going out towards the edges and nobody caught her.
Mm-hmm. So like, what do you all do? Are you going to go over to see what's happening? Are you going to kind of keep doing what you're doing? You want to awkwardly wait and find out?
I
Madison,
start looking.
You nodded.
Yeah, I'm rushing for the first aid kit.
Mm-hmm. I mean, there'll be trainers there as well. Like if you have a juice bar, you also have a first aid officer, I reckon. Sorry, Ashley, were you going to say something?
They're not making us do push-ups?
Oh, they will be. They will be. They're just going to tend to.
But yeah. Otherwise, sort of, trying to get a good view and see what's going on, just to see how bad it is.
And what's Ursula doing?
Oh, I don't even try to look around. I just push through people to get to the front. I'm move, my friend is hurt.
Are you friends with Christina?
Probably not.
All right. So when you push to the front, you'll see that she has a gruesome compound fracture in her lower leg. The bone has broken the skin. Little whispers of this are rippling around the gym immediately, and all of you understand what that means. Like a few weeks out from Nationals, your top girl has an injury that she will not recover from before Nationals. Everything that was already so difficult and so tense is going to be much harder now. Coach, yells at you all to back away. And Ashley, that's striking to you in particular. Normally if somebody hits the mat, it's immediately 50 push-ups for everyone. But Coach is so concerned about what's happening that she's not even inflicting the punishment. In fact, she'll call out, all right, that's it for today. Everyone go home. I'm going to take Christina to the hospital. We're done for today.
Oh, mother of dragons. Madison's actually looking visibly green around the gills, ugh.
Is it the gruesome injury or the prospect of not having your top star for nationals?
It's a little bit of both. The injury definitely was triggering for it, but it's sort of set off all of the anxiety.
Yeah. Ursula, what are you thinking?
I'm thinking that like I'm also like, because I'm also like kind of like grossed out by it, and I definitely don't want to be there. So I think that I probably like beelined away from the group, and I'm like looking to see if there's anybody that I can glom onto as we're like heading out.
Ashley, what are you doing?
Turning away in sadness and fear, and probably trying to make a beeline for Kaylee and go pray together. Because that's how she deals with overwhelming emotion.
Yeah. So, I mean, Ursula, as you like think about who you can kind of glom onto, you do see Ashley, who's your tutor, heading out of the room. Do you want to go talk to her, or is Ashley and Kaylee together too much?
Oh yeah, so I just know that Ashley's gonna do it because that's what Ashley always does. Anytime anything gets even a little awkward, so I like zigzag between a couple girls and immediately just tangle my arm through Ashley's. Just be like, "Hey, are you okay? Oh my gosh, it's so like terrible. What's just happened?"
It is. That's so tragic.
I know we really have to get out of here and like I don't know, go like retail therapy or something. Do you want to go to the mall?
Before you answer that, sorry to interrupt. Ursula, do you want to roll entice at this point? Are you trying to appeal to her emotional sensibilities?
I am definitely trying to appeal to that. So, what is this with?
So roll plus heart.
Heart. Oh, okay. So that one's specifically okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. And of course, that's my -1 because I'm not terribly sincere, I guess. -1 roll. Ah, still an 8.
Great. So on an 8. So Ashley, you have a choice. You can either give Ursula a string on you, or you can choose to get flustered and awkward, promise something they think you think they want, or give in to desire. I guess the move is maybe a little more about romantic type sensibilities than more broadly take me with you, but let's run with it.
I mean, I did like caress her arm as I like entangled myself into it.
So what will Ashley do? I think she will get flustered and awkward. The mall, that's just not the time for that.
What are you talking about? We can buy her something to make her feel better, like flowers or a sweater or I don't know, like maybe like color code something for her eventual cast.
It just seems so wrong. We should be praying for her recovery.
If we were meant to be sad when something bad happened to someone, then we would be sad all the time, Ashley. You need to live a little.
Well, maybe. Just let me pray for a while first.
Okay, well, you can pray in the car. How's that sound?
She's extremely uncomfortable with this, but lets it happen.
All right. Madison, 2 of your exes are involved in this conversation. Does that mean that you do try and join them, or does it mean that you don't try and join them?
I'm going to catch up with them later, I think. Actually, the fact that 2 of my exes are involved is a good reason to stay away.
Yeah. But I think your phone will ring, or maybe you get a text message from Michelle, your friend at Holy Spirit. She is texting to say there's a series of text messages. Each of them contains many emojis. She's excited to see you at Cheer Wars tonight. She's heard a rumor that you're going to be challenging Gwen for her spot on the tumbling team. Do you want to make it interesting? Is it true?
Considering the bet we've already got, I probably shouldn't tell you this, but ... sneaky face, tongue out, send.
So the others are going to go to the mall for a while.
Yeah.
What's Madison going to do now that training's wrapped up?
I want to actually. I think my clique in the team. I think there's a couple of the male cheerleaders that I hang around with, who are both bases. I think them, like me, kind of came from rough starts, and they're sort of like a little disillusioned with life. Do I know who was the base for Christina when she fell?
Oh yeah, great question. Yeah, I think it's one of your friends.
Yeah, Craig.
Craig? Yep. Maybe Craig and Elton.
Craig and Elton. I like that. Elton hates his name because he's like 100% straight. Well, as 100% straight as you get in this game anyway.
Yeah.
So I go over to Craig immediately and I'm like, hey man, you okay?
Craig is, he's a little shaken up. You can tell, but he'll say that he's fine. Almost instinctively, the way someone replies to how you doing with okay.
Yeah, I do the whole like back of the hand into the chest, like okay. Now tell me how you're actually doing.
Yeah, I mean he'll tell you that he's worried about Christina. I mean if she's hurt, then it's all my fault.
Let's get some water, yeah.
Sure.
Maybe we'll be badasses and put the non-sugar-free syrup in it this time.
Is there something like? Is there an activity that you and Craig and Elton do, or like somewhere you go to hang out? Like what?
Yeah, there's definitely a couple places in the mall that we like to hang out. There's a couple of funky because we're gonna fucking be hipsters. Of course we are. There's a couple of like vinyl stores there that we really like. So it's like, hey,
wow.
We got a little time. Let's go pick up some vinyl. Does Christina like vinyl? I don't remember.
I don't think the Mean Girls faction in this cheerleading team is too into vinyl records. That's why
we should maybe get her one anyway, just to fuck with her. Or sorry, just to mess with her.
Swearing is fine.
Madison like uses code words for swearing. It's part of her upbringing. So I'm trying to get into the habit of doing that.
Sure. So that's cool. Are there particular scenes that people want to play out at the mall, or shall we frame ahead towards Cheer Wars a little?
I would like to set up a little bit more of the interclick drama. Like maybe Ursula has like a confrontation with River, or like something like that, just to kind of like set up some of those tensions.
Yeah. Cool. So maybe an hour or so after you left training, all of you are at the mall, not together, but I mean, how's it working out for you? You were a little reluctant to go shopping right now, but you're sort of being dragged along by Ursula. How are you finding that?
It's distracting enough, that's for sure. especially being dragged along by Ursula.
Have you bought anything?
I've shown
Maybe
her
just
at least 7 provocative outfits, and she won't try on any of them.
I think I bought like a get well card and nothing else so far.
Cool. I just want to mention this because Ashley, you expressed some interest in Ursula at the moment. The game does have a move called Smitten that you can make at any time to indicate a romantic or other sort of special interest in either a PC or an NPC. Is Ashley perhaps smitten with Ursula?
Why not? Let's give it a try.
All right. So
she's been dragged out of her comfort
playable
zone, and now she just doesn't know what's going on.
All right. So Ursula will get 1 string on Ashley, and Ashley, you'll find there is a question on the character bar that you answer when you're smitten with someone.
Which of my values do you openly violate or decry? Certainly not dressing modestly.
Nice. All right. So while you're all at the mall, you all get a text message from River. It tells you that Christina is doing okay, but won't be at Cheer Wars tonight. And I think, like, is River's tone more like, because you've described River a lot as like perfect. Like, is she going to express things politely, or is she going to be a bit more like mean and hostile about what she expects?
I feel like it's one of those things where if it's in writing or if it's in front of an adult or something, or like, you know, like someone in a position of power, it's like very cordial, very proper. But like if she's alone in a room with you and you've pissed her off, she goes like full, like, you know, sorority sister, like mean girl.
Cool. So the text message is polite, but the kind of content is unmistakable to those of you who know River, about the need to get it together tonight. We're down our best player for now. Best cheerleader for now. Everyone else is going to have to step up.
I could definitely see River like constantly talking like a team captain. She's like, we got to get out there. We got to murder them. It's cheerleading. It doesn't matter. We got to murder them.
And they're not well. So let's just let you talk about that at all. Like, do Heather and Ashley say anything about the text? Like, you both receive it.
I think that at the moment it comes in, Ursula's probably holding up like a very tight sweater. I'm like, it's a sweater. It's, you know, it's fine, but it's like skin tight. And then we get the text and like you just see like Ursula's face darken. Like, oh, she's gonna be on a tear again tonight.
Ashley, how do you respond?
I take the opportunity to sort of slide that sweater to the side and just go, wow, Cheer Wars on top of all this. Wow,
I mean,
that's going to be rough.
I mean, of course, like she wasn't gonna like let us bail or anything like that. We can't like lose face in front of the other school, and there's that whole like urban legend thing where we have to like win if we're gonna win championships. So it makes sense, but also she could give us a break every once in a while.
Do you really believe in that urban legend?
Well, I mean, I did compete in 2 of them, and I did win 2 of them, and then we won. So sure. If
So
we
Madison,
lose tonight,
you're
I will definitely
sorry.
not win. If we lose tonight, I will definitely not believe in it, because then we'll just have to win anyway.
So I'm just going to cut to Madison for a sec. So Madison, you're at the vinyl store in the mall,
Yeah.
with Craig and Elton. Elton, I want to say that Elton has picked up the most heterosexual piece of vinyl in the store. I'm not quite sure what that would be. Led Zeppelin, maybe?
Yes.
I'm not really
yes.
sure. But Craig, has certainly been, your mission to distract him, to make him feel better has been working out. Do you, until all of you receive this text message and you see that his mood once more plummets as it reminds him of what's happened. What do you do?
So I think like Craig gets the text first, and we see him fall, and then we all look at it and go, oh. And I'm just like, this battered fishwife of a team captain, just cheese and rice. Could she just back off for a second?
So as you take your hand away from your face, you see from the expression on Craig and Elton's face, that the fishwife is behind you.
She's behind me, isn't she?
They both nervously nod. Fishwife, is it, Madison?
I think I said battered fishwife, to be precise. Hey, have you listened to the new Kenny Rogers album? To say as I'm like thumbing through country, which I suddenly find myself in front of, sort of deliberately not looking over, like.
Why? Well, so why don't you roll to defy disaster in this moment? And while you do that, sorry, Ash, Greg, I just wanted to mention I forgot before when you rolled a miss. It is an XP on a miss game, so
Okay.
mark an XP for that from before. Is everyone else finding roll with me is working okay today? I am having a lot of trouble with it.
I haven't actually tried it yet, so I don't know.
Oh.
I'm gonna.
It worked on my one roll, so
Yay!
Same here.
I'm gonna do this with heart,
Okay.
even though it's a bad idea, because I think that's sort of the direction I'm leaning in. Like, yeah. So that is.
Oh. All right. So what do you get on a 10? You do it with style. At the GM's discretion, you may also learn new information, discover a new opportunity, or gain a string on someone. So, yeah, let's say that you gain a string on River. Like, you've gotten under her skin a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to tell us is the outcome here? So you have defied disaster. You're not in trouble. Is that because she buys your gracious explanation, or is it because you're too good for her to do anything about?
I honestly think River turns me around and gives me some real straight talk of look, I get you're worried and I get you're upset, but you don't get to disrespect me to my team behind my back. And Madison is like, you know what? You're absolutely right. That was uncalled for, and I'm sorry. I think there's a lot of, well, no, I'm sorry. I'm imagining how mature adults would handle this. Forgot the game I was playing for a second. I think she turns me around and gives me straight you should not be disrespecting me in front of my team like that. And I just sort of and I take it, but I it doesn't affect me. I'm not staggered by it. I kind of let it wash off my back.
Mm-hmm.
but I have definitely gotten under her skin.
Yeah, and I think that like she'll take it further. She'll have almost like a tantrum. It's like, this is the whole problem with this. Looks around, nobody's around. Damn team, everyone is like, can we just hold together and pretend we like each other for one day? If we could just do that, if we could just get through nationals, with some unity and some support and some love for each other, we would be unstoppable. But and she storms away. And I think as she storms away, she will run into Ursula and Ashley. But Madison, did you want to say anything else to Craig before we wrap up that scene?
I think
Craig and Elton look at you awkwardly after that.
I think I'm good because I see Ursula and Ashley walk by outside?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. I sort of do a like, and like, I don't even say anything. I just like, I leave. I walk away from Craig and Elton. I kind of leave them hanging. And I'm like, hey, Ashley, Ursula, how you doing? Kaylee, hi.
So basically, just to make sure I have this in my head, like Ashley and I were walking by the entrance of this store. River is like barging out. Madison has also seen us and has beelined over to us. I think I take one look at Madison and just kind of like disentangle my arm from Ashley and then jump forward and loop my arm through Rivers and then walk away.
Ashley, I think you might need to stagger. So stagger is like the reactive move when you take like it's like take a powerful blow in Masks.
Okay.
So did you suffer an emotional blow? I mean, tell me if that sounds right to you. If you think that's not how Ashley would feel, that's okay. You just choose one of three things, depending on how many conditions you have. So I think you're all at 0 conditions. Which of those options would you like?
Ooh. So, since the actual reactive ones don't really spring to mind, I will just go with Grin and Bear It and take 2 conditions.
So what conditions are you going to mark?
Insecure and angry.
All right. That sounds good. So I reckon this is a good spot to take a break. We'll come back and we'll sort of frame forward to Cheer Wars, or we'll let anyone get in any scenes they want before that. So let's come back at 7 minutes past the hour. Cool. Everyone ready to keep going?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Cool. So before we get to Cheer Wars, I just want a little getting ready montage type scene. So just want to go around. Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Can I jump in with
Joe?
one scene with Ashley at the mall before we get to that?
Oh yeah, of course.
Thanks.
Tell what do you want to?
So is
how do you want to frame it up?
Is Kaylee still around or is she gone?
Ashley, what do you
She
think?
could still be around.
She could still be around. Oh, this is going to be super awkward.
It's entirely possible she's been driven off by the whirlwind of Ursula.
Well,
because what I want to do is like when Ursula takes River's arm and walks away, like I want to walk up to Ashley and just sort of look at her and look at Ashley or look at River and Ursula walking away and look back to Ashley like, I don't know about you, but I'm terrified.
She's Ashley's just staring after her with her mouth open and maybe a bit of moisture in her eyes.
Hey. And I kind of I want to put my hand on her shoulder, but I'm not sure if I should. Just like, hey, Ashley, I know we haven't had a chance to talk much, but there's something I wanted to say to you if you have a minute.
She turns, yes.
I remember what it was like coming from a sheltered community into a huge world, a world full of people who thought differently, acted differently. It was really confusing for me. And I mean, I came out of it better and stronger, but it was hard. And part of what got me through it is friends who knew what I was going through. So I just want to say, if you ever want to talk about anything, let me know.
It sounds like you might be making the emotional support move.
I am attempting to, yeah.
Great. Oh, go ahead and roll that, and then we'll ask Ashley how she responds.
This will be with heart.
Cool.
So again, this is going to be just a straight 2d6. Oh, also a 10.
Great. So on a 10, if they open up to you, they choose one, and you either choose one or take a string. So Ashley, will you open up to Madison? Do you trust them enough for that?
Sure. Say you're right. I don't know what to feel.
Yeah.
I thought she felt something for me, but she just acts like she doesn't.
Oh, Ursula?
Yeah.
That's Ursula. I don't think she ever means to hurt anybody by it, but I kind of got stung by that too.
And
so Ashley, you can clear a condition, mark XP, take one forward, or gain insight from the GM about an obstacle facing one of you.
I'll clear a condition.
All right. What one are you clearing?
I took angry and insecure. We'll clear the angry.
All right. Still feeling a little unsure of yourself, but
Yeah.
you're calming down a bit. And Joe, the same list, but you can also take a string if you want instead.
I'm gonna take a string on Ashley.
Cool.
And I think, just to make things really interesting, I'm going to declare that I am smitten.
Well, so Ashley also takes a string on you. And what's your question?
My question is, how have my actions deeply hardened you?
Wow.
Yeah,
So let's see. You are infamous for this sort of shadowy incident in which arrests were involved.
Yeah, there's lots of rumors flying around about what it was. Feel free to fill in any blanks that you want, anything that you think Ashley might really dislike.
I'll say maybe I was.
I mean, this is a question. Oh, sorry.
I was thinking maybe I was set to enter the cheerleading program at that college, but then that happened.
Ooh.
And my parents would have no part in sending me there. And so my career was delayed for like a year.
I like this.
And you hold Joe responsible for that? Or sorry, Madison?
Madison was part of it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you
Maybe
want
I'll
to say
find
anything
out
to Madison
more.
about that now?
Not right now, no.
Okay. All right. So just briefly before we get to Cheer Wars, I just want to hear about like your kind of home situations. You're all back in your bedrooms getting ready for tonight. Yeah, let's go left to right again across the character keeper. Just want to hear like in particular what your bedroom looks like, but also more generally your kind of home situation. Parents, good, bad relationship with your parents. Are they around? Are you going to have to sneak out tonight, or will they let you go? Big family, small family, just like anything like that about your home life that you want to tell us. And also anything about your outfit for Cheer Wars that you would like to share. Ursula, are you happy to go first?
Yeah, I can go first. I think Ursula is a latchkey kid, actually. Well, latchkey adult or whatever now. So basically, her parents work late, and so like there's no sneaking out. She's just gonna go out because she got home and no one was there, and she's gonna leave, and no one will be there to see her off, and she'll probably get back before her parents even get off work anyway. So, yeah, and I think that the way that her room looks, that kind of like telegraphs this, is that like all of her stuff is like really like well put away and stuff like that. But then like outside of her bedroom is the house is just kind of a mess. And so it's like this is the only place where she has like a lot of control. So it's very controlled.
Yeah, cool. Sorry, you reminded me of something that I've like defaulted to my Monster Hearts, like something I always ask in Monster Hearts. But actually, you're a young adults, not teenagers, and may well not live with your parents. So feel free to answer this question. Parental home, share house, college dorm, whatever it is, whatever your living arrangement might be. Ashley, what about you?
Well, I think currently she's living in the dorms with probably with like 2 or 3 other girls in the room. I don't know how many they put in there, but at least one roommate, possibly a couple more. She comes from a like small town Iowa family where her dad was a tractor salesman. Her mom, of course, was a housewife because she's a good Christian. She's the oldest, I think, of 3 sisters. The role model for all of them. So. But now, yeah, staying in the dorms. Let's say not with Kaylee, just with a couple other.
Do you get on well with your roommates?
Well enough. We're polite. Not really friends.
Cool. You're getting ready for Cheer Wars. What are Ashley's makeup skills like? Is she comfortable putting on a big face for the show, or?
She's actually really good at doing the hair. That's her special talent, getting that gigantic poof of hair.
Nice.
Her makeup skills are nothing to write home about, but she's got the hair down.
Cool. Sorry, I'm going to ask if Ursula or Daryl wants to like revisit anything, given that you don't have to live with your parents. But I'll just ask Madison first. What's your arrangement?
Madison's currently renting a 1-bedroom with their uncle, who lives closer to the college. So they've got kind of an arrangement where they pay like an absolute minimum amount. They basically pay for utilities and a little bit of rent and food, and in return they keep the place clean. So the living area is very basic. Like it's a 1-bedroom. There's a tiny little kitchen. There's a fold-out couch. There's a TV on like cinder blocks, that kind of thing. it attaches to the garage, and in the garage there is a home gym, and the home gym is obviously where the money has been spent, because there's the Peloton. Madison frickin' loves the Peloton. Something about being yelled at by hot people. I don't know what it is.
Sorry, I'm gonna have to ask what a Peloton is.
It's an exercise machine, like it's a treadmill, but it's got a built-in screen on it, and it connects to like personal trainers, so you can do like home.
Right.
Yeah, and expensive. Yeah, it's obviously their uncles. Like they bought it a year and a half ago and put it in the garage, and so Madison's actually getting some use out of it.
Or does Madison perhaps have a little money, or had a little money from some criminal enterprise?
I think that's the rest of the gym. I think the Peloton is a status symbol of their uncles, but the rest of the gym is like equipment that I bought for it. Like I upgraded the rickety crappity little weight bench and got a seriously put together one, and I've got a rad ass series of kettlebells and stuff.
Yeah, and I mean, you said that your uncle's place is like closer to the college. Is that the only reason that you don't live with your parents?
I think my parents are still adjusting to me coming out. I don't know if that branches too closely into transphobia or homophobia, but for personal reasons, I've decided that some distance between us would be good.
Yeah. Okay, cool. And sorry, Darryl, I'll give you just an opportunity if you want to reconsider anything about Ursula's living arrangement.
No, I actually like it. So, and if like parents comes up, I think that I would be also fine to have that in like as a part of Ursula's story. So.
Okay, cool. So all of you head out, to Race Wars. To Race Wars. That's where it came from. Is from Fast and the Furious, where it is called Race Wars. The Cheer Wars happens. In contrast to the beautifully, luxuriously appointed gym that you're used to training at, Cheer Wars happens on the bad side of town. There's a large parking lot abandoned this late at night. It has been carefully prepared by the more junior cheerleaders, who are expected to lay out the mats that have been carefully taped down in the area where the big confrontations will happen. There are, there's people everywhere. It's not only the big college cheer teams that come here, like a lot of high school teams are here. There's probably not primary school teams coming, or I'm not sure, primary school might be an Australianism. There's not a lot of real younger teams, but there's definitely some kids from those teams who have been able to make it along tonight, who are almost starstruck to see real Ravona College cheerleaders in the flesh, and Holy Spirit, the two big national cheer teams. Madison, can I ask you first? You plan to challenge Gwen tonight. How do you plan to set that up?
I think first off, the first thing I'm going to do is before we start, I actually am going to walk up to Gwen, face to face. And I want to first of all check how she's doing, because one of her friends is now in the hospital.
It's nice. I mean, she's one of the mean girls, so she's gonna look at you. She's gonna look down her nose at you and be like, Madison, if I need emotional support from you, I'm sure I'll ask for it.
Well, darling, you better save my number, because you're going to need it after tonight. I'm taking your spot.
You're taking my spot?
I see that the hair dye is affecting your hearing again. Yes, I'm taking your spot.
She looks over her shoulder and in quite a whiny voice yells, River! And River does come over to see what's happening. The rest of you probably, arriving around this time, it's relatively early in the night, but you can see that there's something brewing over here. River comes over. Gwen will say, Madison says they're going to take my spot. River looks to you, Madison, to see whether you confirm this.
I look over at River and just nod.
And River looks around and raises her voice and says, all right, we have a cheer battle on our hands. And a crowd begins to assemble. Yeah, Madison, like, what's this going to look like for you?
So Madison has a flair for the dramatic, we could say. Madison definitely wouldn't feel too uncomfortable if she suddenly had to, or if they had to suddenly become a pro wrestler. Like, so they start off by hyping the crowd. They start off by like, I'm sorry, did somebody say cheer battle? I'm sorry, I can hear you. And just tries to
get excited.
Get the crowd riled up.
Yeah, people are getting into it. You recognize some of your old Holy Spirit teammates in the crowd. You see Ursula and Ashley. Well, I mean, I assume Ursula and Ashley will both come to watch this. You see a lot of members of your team, your new team.
I definitely point out Michelle's in the audience, right?
Mm-hmm.
I definitely like directly point out Michelle, just like, yeah. And I look at Gwen.
And I think
5 tricks, that should be enough for even you to handle, right?
5? Can you even count that high without putting up your fingers?
No.
Let's do this.
But I don't need to count to whoop your behind.
We'll see. And I think that while this is happening, Ursula and Ashley, like, have you arrived? Are you together? Like, are you across the crowd from each other? What's happening there?
I don't think we arrived together. But
I guess my question really is whether Ashley has sought you out.
Yes.
All right. So I think Brittany will talk to you both while she sees this coming. And she'll say it loud enough for people to hear. And I think she's hoping that Madison will hear it. She says, they came here from Holy Spirit, and on the biggest night of the year, they're trying to undermine our team. Like, do you believe this?
Ooh, is there a, like, put someone in their place move in this game?
There really is not. I mean, I was thinking about this before, that we clearly need one for the setup. I think it makes sense to roll the fight move. Like, I was adjusting that to be about a cheer fight, but do you want to just, like, let's trial that? That you can use that move also for, like, a verbal smackdown?
Yeah, okay. So I think that, like, Brittany does that and, is, like, trying to, like, toss her golden locks and whatever. And I immediately just say, the only people who deserve to be on the mat are the people who are going to win us the trophy. So if she can't do it, then she deserves to be replaced. And let's see, that's with daring or with grace?
I mean, if you want to use wit, that would make sense to me as well.
Yeah, they're both 1s. So I'm going to use wit for that, actually. But okay, and that's an 8.
Cool. So on an 8, choose 1, and your opponent will also choose 1.
You so owe me, Madison. I'm going to create an opportunity for an ally.
What does that look like?
I think that because Brittany's a mean girl, people probably fear her a little bit and probably are swayed by what she has to say. But when someone like called her on her bullshit, that like people who wanted to cheer for Madison but maybe hadn't start cheering louder. So like it creates like a, you know, like the surge of support that will hearten Madison and strengthen them.
All right. So I think that Brittany is going to inflict a condition in return. So do you want to tell me what condition it is, and then I'll maybe narrate a little fiction?
Ooh, I think it's angry because I think maybe I'm a bit more protective of Madison than I thought I was.
Yeah. And I think that Brittany will like call that out explicitly. It's like, oh, fine, protect your little lovebird over there, as she storms away through the crowd and starts cheering even louder for Christina. Ashley, what do you do while this is happening?
I think after I see Ursula standing up for herself, then I'll turn towards Madison and start cheering them on. Not everybody else on the team thinks like that. We love you, Madison.
Yeah. Ursula like loops her arm through Ashley's again and just like, no, it's fine. Just let her go.
All right. Madison, it's time for your cheer battle. Everyone's ready.
Indeed.
Do you want to narrate, or do you just want to roll your move?
I have a question. Can we still do the figure out a person while we're fighting move?
Yes, you absolutely can.
Yeah. So that's how it starts.
So,
out,
sorry.
Yep.
I was just going to say, like, there's no... Yeah, a cheer battle, cheering against someone isn't necessarily the cheer violence move. Cheer fight move, you can always figure someone out. You can try and entice them with your cheering. You can use whatever move is appropriate to what you're trying to do.
Absolutely.
Okay. So sorry, go on.
Yeah, so I start with that. So how it starts out is that I don't know how we decide who goes first, but Madison's like first two tricks are super basic. They're well executed, like they're very well executed. They're very precise, or at least that's the plan, but they're very basic. They're not showy. And the plan is to get a read on Gwen. Like, how is Gwen feeling? Is Gwen actually concerned about this? Like, and to basically do a read a person on Gwen.
Cool. So roll plus wit.
Will do. What is my wit? Oh, that's one. Okay, that's not bad. That is a 12.
Nice. So on a 10 plus, you can ask 2 questions from the list below, now or later in the scene. Do you want to ask anything now?
Yes. I'm going to ask one of the questions from my playbook.
Mm-hmm.
How could I get you to betray your ideals? And by ideals in this case, I mean like the ideals of the mean girl clique.
So how could you get her to start being nicer to people?
Yeah. Or at least get out of the whole, like, I have to be part of this group mindset.
Well, I think the answer is that the way that you could tempt her away from that attitude and that friendship group is to visibly throw the battle and let her win. Like, let her see that there's things more important than being seen as triumphant all the time.
Oh, interesting. Interesting. Oh, that's intriguing. Okay, that's fair. And I'm going to hang on to that second question for now, I think.
All right. Well, I think that you do need to roll a cheer fight move just to see how you go in this battle.
Absolutely. So this will be with daring. Actually, no, this is going to be with grace. this first one because I'm not getting daring yet. So that is +1. I got a 6.
That's a miss. The
Nice.
All right.
Nice.
So I think that I mean that suggests that she does beat you in the battle. That you
Mhm.
don't take her spot on the team.
Okay.
I think that you need to mark a condition for that.
Right.
But I guess my question to you is:
Mhm.
Is that happening because you decided to let her win, or is that happening because she legitimately beat you in this moment?
I think there's a moment where I don't let her win, but I do hold back at one point because I think that if I don't hold back, one of us is going to get hurt. Like I think in the last 3 moves, it gets so big that it's like, you know what? We're on concrete in the middle of a parking lot here. If we do this, one of us is going to get hurt. So I pull back at the last minute. And I'm going to take frightened for that. Ooh.
Okay.
Ouch. Yeah, frightened.
All right. And Madison, River will approach you immediately afterwards. She congratulates Gwen, and she turns to you with the sternest of stern expressions. She says, "Now you're a valued member of this team, but you need to know your place. You need to fall in line. You need to do what the team needs and stop thinking about yourself all the time. Can you do that?"
Hi.
Goddamn. And she turns away. She's talking to one of her friends. And she's just sort of muttering as she walks away, like the same thing, that this problem that the team can't hold together for 1 minute and isn't going to win if that's the way things are.
I'm now going to take Smitten on River as well.
So River, it's a string. That's nice.
Nice. So that's 2 strings now. Or do I get an extra? I already had a string on her. Do I get a second one?
So she takes a string on you. I don't think. Sorry, let me just check the move. Yeah, so they get a string on you. You don't get a string on them.
Gotcha.
And answer the question demanded by your playbook.
How have my actions deeply harmed them? I think that me coming in here with attitude has made her job. I don't think I realized until this moment that me coming in with an attitude has really made her job a lot harder. I think I realized in this moment that she's gone to bat for me a couple of times when I maybe did not deserve it.
Okay. And at this point, London's going to come over to you. Mostly people have come to congratulate Gwen, but London comes over to kind of commiserate. She does rub your arm, tells you how great you looked out there. I really think you could have beaten her another. If you had one more move.
Thanks. Yeah, I think you're right. I think if I'd had one more move, I could have beaten her. But this was the way it had to be. And you know what? Now I know.
Ursula, do you read to London sort of flirting with Madison?
I definitely react. That reaction is probably to fling myself in the way of someone even more not appropriate. So I think what I do is, and actually feel free to disagree with this, but I'm gonna like straight up drag Ashley away to probably go talk to, who's the most dangerous. You know what? I'm just gonna complicate it. I saw this like really sexy girl who I guess her name was Michelle. So I'm just gonna go and like zero in and be like, oh hey, I haven't seen you before. Um, with Ashley in tow. But also to activate my special move is lust at first sight. When you become smitten with someone you barely know, declare your undying love and give them a string on you. So yeah.
Oh, you're going to
Nice.
totally break my heart.
Oh my god, I didn't even think about that. I'm terrible.
So Ursula, what's your smitten question?
Okay, my smitten question is, why would your romance never last? I think our romance would never last because I think Michelle's just too interested in like the angles. Like I think that Michelle would start asking me like way too many questions about like where I was going and who I was spending time with. And I am a free bird and I cannot be caged like that. So obviously, she doesn't have if she has trust issues, I can't make a relationship work. And they were definitely not exacerbated by anything I would do.
All right. And so, tell us about how exactly you're flirting with Michelle, and then I'll get you to roll entice. If that sounds right.
I think that I I'm gonna totally just give her like a gimmick. I think that she like flips a coin a lot. And so I think that what I do is I like walk up and like snatch it out of the air and just be like, heads or tails.
I think she like looks down, almost like she's checking out your butt, and then she replies, "Tails."
Okay. But I really should have chosen different stats for being this flirty because it's still nice. It's a 3.
Oh my god. So, like it almost seems like Michelle might be interested. But before she can even like say or do anything, the captain of the Holy Spirit cheer squad comes to like round up the team members, pretty much grabs her, drags her away. I want to say that their captain's name is Condor. I feel completely ridiculous about this, but I just jumped into my head. So Condor literally grabs her by the collar and is like, "Come on, Michelle, no more fraternizing with these I've forgotten the name of our team. With these Ravona College basic bitches." And Michelle is dragged away. And I'll get you to mark a condition, Ursula.
Okay. Well, it's gotta be insecure because, like, come on, like, look, I'm a piece of artwork with emphasis on the work, but artwork. So yeah.
And sorry, just to say again, I'm not going to say this every time, but when you roll this, do mark experience. And I think that River will like start rounding all of you up now. Like it's almost time for the big climactic battle. Well, sorry, let me step back. Is there any other scenes, any other battles, any other challenges that people want to get in before we get to the big Cheer Wars finale between the two colleges?
There is one thing that I want to like just clarify. So before, when I did that fight move, I actually have a skill impressive swordplay. When I roll a 7+ on a fight move, I can gain a string on that person, and then I can ask a question about that NPC. So can I like rewind and do that with Brittany?
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool, because I want that string.
Yeah.
One string. All right, and then so the extra bit is actually I asked the GM or their player what it is about me that has impressed or intrigued them.
I mean, I think it's clearly like Brittany is impressed by your like mean girl potential. Sees that there's like a bit of that quality in you, and that maybe they could bring it out.
Sold.
Ashley, like you're being kind of rounded up for this finale, but you've also just seen Ursula pretty overtly flirting with this Holy Spirit girl.
Yes.
What do you do?
I think wheels are starting to turn in my head as to what I might need to do to get Ursula's attention. So nothing yet, but she's making plans now.
All right. So this is how I like envision this final battle. The two teams, meet on the mat. One team will do their whole routine, like start to finish. Then the other team will go. Holy Spirit, there'll be a coin toss. Holy Spirit will go first. I think that the captains of the previous year's squads will be the judges. They're standing back into one side. They're watching keenly, ready to see what happens. And you're all lined up. The music starts. This just awful, like booming techno remix of 17 different songs. And all of you are shocked as the Holy Spirit team begins to perform your routine. And obviously someone has betrayed you. There's no way that they could be doing this unless somebody on your team had given them the moves. And you realize,
Sorry to jump in here.
That's
Just a quick mention. I do still have a question that I can ask Gwen, and I'm going to want to ask that before we do anything else. Just to. Do
you want to ask it now?
Yeah,
that's fine.
I want, because I kind of think Gwen is sus.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, what are Gwen's feelings toward this happening? Is she secretly pleased? Is she shocked?
She is absolutely as shocked as you are. It's not Gwen.
Okay.
The other thing that you all realize is that for them to be performing, they're like one athlete short. There should be one more team member, one more person on their team. And you realize that right about the time that River steps out, walks up onto the mat and joins Holy Spirit and starts flipping and performing and fundamentally joining the other team. You've lost Christina and River in the same day. You are about to be beaten by your rivals at Cheer Wars, which tradition says means that you will lose at Nationals. I want you all to stagger. So if you look at that move, you'll each be choosing an option. I think you're all at 0-3 conditions. Ursula, what happens to you?
I grin and bear the blow. Mark 2 more conditions. Yeah, frightened and hopeless.
All right. Ashley?
I will lash out at Ursula.
What does that look like?
I can't believe River would do that. And why were you even so interested in her yesterday? Do you have anything to do with this?
Why don't you roll the fight move to see how effective you are at lashing out at Ursula?
Daring or grace? Daring, definitely. which of course is just 2d6.
I've totally lost roll with me now, so just tell me what the roll is.
A 4.
Oh.
Mark another experience.
Ursula, what do you say back to Ashley that causes her to mark a condition?
I literally don't say anything. I just like turn and walk away. Like, I'm not even worth saying, like, responding to.
Right.
Like, there's and it's like the slow-mo where I just let her arm fall, and then like as I'm turning away and my hair like blows in the wind or something.
Nice. And Ashley, what condition do you mark as you see that?
I will mark angry, and now her plans are starting to change with regards to Ursula.
All right. And Madison, how are you staggered by this revelation?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. So I also lash out at somebody whose regard matters to me. You know whose regard matters to me? River. Take advantage of a string you hold on them if applicable. I have a string on River.
Okay. Does this happen during their routine, or are you waiting till after?
Happens. It absolutely happens during their routine. Like when she starts flipping with them, yeah. I just, I look at her. I look at her and I say, and instead of screaming or yelling, I just look at her and say, so she can like read my lips, "You fucking coward."
All right. Will you go ahead and roll the fight move as well?
Absolutely.
To see how impactful that is.
Are we okay with saying that is daring?
Sure.
Okay. So with my -2 to fight, that will be a straight 2d6.
So I just imagine in the scene of this movie, there's like a moment when the soundtrack drops out. It's been this like booming like power music, and then there's just silence, and like we get a close up on the eyes and then the lips, and we see, yeah, that's right, +1 from the string.
Nice.
If you want to use the string.
I do actually. I totally want to burn that string right now.
Cool. And then what have you rolled?
I have rolled an 11 with the +1.
Nice. So choose 2 and your opponent will choose 1.
So this is the fight move. Suffice it to say, I am no longer smitten with River. That was there and gone. Inflict a condition. And take
what
something.
What condition do you want to give her?
What are my options with an NPC?
It's the same as for River. It's the same as you.
Yeah, I want to give her insecure. I want her to be really thinking about what she's done. And take something from the opponent.
What will you take?
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. I think what happens is that like she has this routine planned out. Like this is obviously like I'm going to come out and I'm going to do it big to like prove that I'm worthy to be part of this team. And I think I take that opportunity from her. I think me coming out and doing that throws her off enough that she's not as good as she expected to be.
Yeah, the crowd doesn't take to it the way that she expected and imagined in her head.
Yes,
that totally works. I think that what she will take, like this is probably broader than something that she can take from you specifically, but also it's sort of already happened narratively, so I'm just going to roll with it. But she takes the Cheer Wars victory. Your team in absolute disarray. I'm not sure if you quite may even make it to the mat to perform your routine. Ursula has stormed away. Probably some other people have. It's just a mess. And that is where... Sorry, go on.
I just want to say, I do. If I have to literally drag Elton and Greg by their ears, I go up there and I frickin' well perform. Even if everybody boos me from the second I start, I go up there and I perform.
Ashley, do you join?
I don't think so. I think if people are abandoning it, I'm following the crowd.
Yeah. What about Ursula?
Oh, I'm gone. Yeah. Like,
All right.
like first River, then Ashley? No.
And Madison, I want you to roll to defy disaster. Sorry, defy danger.
And I'm going to do that with daring. Because I definitely feel like this is a daring move I'm doing here. That's an 8.
All right. Well, there is no text explaining the outcomes of the move on that part of the character keeper. Let's see. On a 7 to 9, the GM will offer you a hard choice or success with a sacrifice. I think I might hold your hard choice off until next time and just wrap up there for this week. So that is where we'll leave it. Things looking very dark for our heroes, but hopefully to rebound in the weeks to come. Let's do a round of stars and wishes. It's going left to right across the character keeper, I guess. So, Daryl, do you want to lead off?
Sure. So stars, like right off the bat, stars for the setup. I like the way that this whole world has kind of come together. My only frame of reference is Bring It On that I watched at least half a decade ago. So I'm really enjoying it. It's deliciously dramatic. So like stars to you, Shane, for putting it all together. Stars to Madison for becoming what I'm going to assume is the heart and soul of the cheer squad. Just like right off the bat. I mean, we'll see where it goes, but yeah, like that's the whole direction that I'm seeing that going in. And then stars to Ashley for there's just like the trope of the blooming virgin, like not to make any implications about Ashley, but like just the innocence and like I can't wait for like the drop. It's gonna be so good. So I'm very excited about that. Yeah. So wishes. If I have any wishes, I definitely want like more like chances to socialize and kind of like push for like those interpersonal dramas. That's my bread and butter in RPGs. So I love like catty conversations and just like power plays that are all in words. So yeah, here for that. And then I would like to see more of like the personal moves fire off. I'm still learning the system, so specifically like trying to like figure out how to trigger my own stuff. That's what I'm wishing for myself next time.
Cool, thank you. Greg.
Yes. So stars to Shane for putting this together, and it's exactly what I expected, and is a lot of fun. So that's great. Even more drama, perhaps, than I was expecting, which will be a lot of fun. And stars to Ursula for being out there and mixing it up with a nose for trouble. Always love those sort of characters. Stars to Madison for being even more dramatic than I would have thought. So you don't seem to have like a straightforward relationship with anybody, but it's fun. Wishes, nothing springs to mind immediately. Enjoying it so far and looking forward to going down some of the paths we've sort of laid out.
Cool. And Joe.
Hey, everybody. Stars to Shane. First of all, I'm going to be honest. I did not know what to expect when I signed up for this, I was like, is this gonna work without like sword fighting? But it's working. It's 100% working. It's so great. And that last minute twist, just yes, so perfect. Stars to Ashley. I love this version of a Seeker. I think it's great. The whole wrapped up in the purity idea is going to be really interesting to explore. Stars to Ursula. I've always thought of the Scoundrel as somebody who was like very aware of what they're doing, but with Ursula, it seems to just be a kind of thoughtlessness, and not in a mean way. Just I'm just not thinking about that right now because there's a new shiny over here. So congrats. That is such a great way to play this character, and I'm so looking forward to it. So yes.
Oh. So I had forgotten, but we do have an end of session move to go through real quick. So there's just 4 questions. The whole group gets XP for any yes answer. So the first one is if any PC confessed their love. I don't think that happened. Tell me if I'm wrong. The second one is any PC struck a blow against oppression or de-escalated a violent situation. Don't think that happened.
Definitely didn't de-escalate.
Yeah, I might think about rewriting that to sort of match the setting a bit better for next week. The third one, any PC leapt into danger with daring and panache. Yeah, I definitely buy that Madison did that. So that's 1 XP for everyone. And the last one is any player used a safety tool such as the paddle checking card. So we did lines and veils. That's going to easily get us across the line. So that's 2 XP altogether for each of you.
Nice.
If anyone has 5 XP, you get an advance. And you have a whole week to think about what you would like to take. So thanks, everyone. I might fiddle with the moves a little bit for next week, but I think it mostly worked pretty okay. But yeah, thanks very much. I had a really good time. I'm excited for more cheerleading drama, and I'll see you all in a week's time. Bye.
Thanks.
Bye, everyone.
Good night.
Oh, sorry. Before we go, I did tell you I'd forget. Is it okay to post the video?
Yes.
Yes.
Sure.
Good job,
All right.
Shane. You remembered.
Hey, just barely. Thanks.
Just
All right,
barely.
bye.
Bye, everyone.
Good night.